Brother Ramy, so what brings you here?
I want to change, and I heard you can help me.
Speak the straightforward word, brother.
Good question. I think so much of the first season is very aspirational. You know, we're really seeing our character try and figure out who he is. And I think season 2 is much more transformational. He sees who he is and he realizes there's a lot that he has to change. And so I think in like you described it, it's more mature. And I think with that maturity, there comes a bit of a darker tone, but it's really more, it's fitting what's happening, and it's fitting kind of what he is asking of himself and how he's looking at his life. And so that was an exciting thing for us to grow into.
I feel like I have this hole that I've been trying to fill.
Are you praying 5 times a day?
He's jerking off 5 times a day.
Yeah, him and I had a conversation after the first season. You know, he's a practicing Muslim, and I think he was just very excited to see a story that showed someone trying to embrace their faith. And we spoke, and he just wanted to say congrats. And then it kind of turned into me figuring out, oh, hey, do you want to get food or something? And then it was like, hey, do you want to do an episode or two? And then it turned into this big arc for our season that we're really, so happy we got to create together.
I've tried to fill it with sex, but it only makes things worse. I want you to be my teacher. I want to kill my ego.
We're always trying to figure out, you know, everyone, I think there's who you want to be and then who you actually are. And there are so many things that we're trying to fill in that gap. And I think what I always wanted to see was a real story about faith and a real story about someone who believes in a way that felt real to me, which was always, you're kind of like, you like make a deal with God, you know, where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this thing, but I'm not going to do that thing. Or okay, maybe, well, okay, I know I did that thing, but like, or I'm going to do this one bad thing one more time, and then I won't do it again. We're constantly negotiating where we're at. And I wanted to bring that negotiation to the screen. I wanted to bring that negotiation between guilt and lust and faith and passion and love. It's very messy. And I think it was really exciting to do that with this show.
How do I know I'm not just another one of your desires?
I don't want to have sex with you.
That's funny. Sure. I think in many ways, my life has been an example of an American dream. Maybe not but an American dream. And I look at the optimism that my father had when he came to this country and that my mother had when she came to this country, and the hopes. Those are things that I think about a lot and that weigh on me and have weighed on me as I navigate my life, you know, wanting to make it worth it for them.
Welcome to the path, brother.
We always talk about being Muslim, right? That means we got to help other people. What the fuck's wrong with you?
For me, I think Trump is just a reflection of where this country has been for a really long time. I don't think there's a lot that's very new. I think it's all very disturbing. And I think he has lifted the curtain. He has placed a mirror. The actions of this country have been disturbing for a really long time. And his tenure, his presidency has just brought a lot of these things out in the open. And so it's less about my opinion of him and more the reflection of what it looks like to have a capitalist government that values capitalism over people since its inception and since the beginning. So that's really the more important conversation in many ways.
Your sheikh is really hot.
Discipline, Ramy. It's a muscle.
Yeah, I think so much of it was just this idea of like growing up in fear, you know, and feeling like the only reference point in America that I had to my culture and my faith and my language was the framing around terrorism. And I think what it does, which we explore in the show, as a kid, it makes you afraid of yourself. It makes you afraid of where you come from. And we really wanted to deconstruct that and that's something that's really important for me.
2020, they don't want a man like me anymore. They want a man like you. A man who feels a little bit like a woman, but is still officially a man.
I'm a voice of Arab, Muslim, American men who jerk off too much. I'm a voice of them. if you're an Arab, Muslim, American guy who jerks off too much, I'm your leader for sure.
I know I can be better.
You look at everything as a blessing or a curse, Ramy. The truth is, everything is both.
In the Middle East, it's been an amazing reception. I've been really surprised, especially in Egypt. I mean, I think like any audience, there are things that they like and things that they don't like. But I think on the whole, it's been a really great reception, and it's been really exciting to see the conversations that have started from the show.
We are forever bound through love, compassion.
Comedy is emotional truth. It's not the truth. Comedy is not going to be correct. Comedy is not researched. Comedy is not, I mean, there's so many things where comedy, the number one job of comedy is to be funny. And so everything else that you might want to get from it, it's not a reliable place.
I must know. Have you showered since you last masturbated?
What with the?
You must come to Allah clean.
Hollywood is slowly catching up and starting to give more opportunities to more diverse conversations, for sure. It's not as ahead as it thinks it is. I think Hollywood feels like it's, at the forefront of these conversations, but I think Hollywood's pretty slow. I think that social change continues to push Hollywood in the same way that it pushes any corporation into making the right choices.
Everything that's good is Muslim.
It's Muslim.
It's a soft S, like pussy.
Pussy Muslim.
Yeah,
pussy Muslim.
I think there's other ways to learn this, though.
Well, for most, we pray every day, which is good. So we'll do it every day. And I think that there are various things that come up being Muslim in America, of course, and there are a lot of people who face a lot of misunderstanding and face a lot of prejudice because of the way we've been dehumanized in the media. And that continues to be true. And it also continues to be true that there are so many Muslims in this country who are very welcomed here and very loved here. And so it's like anything, there's various experiences.